Let's talk about measurement and scale proportions. You'll need to be familiar with the U.S. customary system converted to metric system. You'll also need to know that this symbol here that looks like an equal sign that is curved means approximately or about. When setting up a proportion, make sure the units in your numerator match and your units in the denominator match. Let's talk about a measurement example. If Paige ran a 5-kilometer race, what would be the closest distance she ran in miles? First thing you need to do is set up the ratio with this scale. So that's what you know. So I know 1 kilometer is about 0.5 miles. So that's going to be my first part of my proportion. The second portion, the second side of the ratio, you want to set up with what you know from the problem. Well, I know she ran 5 kilometers. So since I have kilometers in the numerator here, I need to have kilometers in the numerator in the second fraction. I don't know how many miles she ran, so I'm going to represent that with an X. So let's cross multiply and solve. So you get 1 kilometer times X, so that's going to be 1X. 5 times 0.5 is going to be 2.5. If I would like to divide by 1, you can, but you do get the same outcome. So 5 kilometers is approximately 2.5 miles. Let's look at a scale example. A tree is 30 feet high and creates a 25-foot shadow. So you've got a tree here that's 25 feet high and is 30 feet high and creates a 25-foot shadow. At the same time, a person casts a shadow that's 5 feet long. How tall is the person? So you can set this up using an image, or you can set this up using words. Either way works fine. For instance, I'm going to put the tree first, and it's going to be the height over the shadow, and then you've got the person, and I still want to do height over shadow. Always make sure your numerators match and your denominators match. Cross multiply and solve. 30 times 5 is 150. 25 times x is 25x. You have a one-step equation, so you want to solve by dividing by 25 on each side to get you 6 feet. So this is a 6-foot person. The happy birthday poster in Mrs. Cross's room is about 75 centimeters long. About how many inches long is the poster? If I look at the conversions at the top of the page, 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So we're going to come down here and write that in a proportion or in a ratio. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So then you want to find out how many inches is 75 centimeters. So I'm going to cross multiply and get 75 equals 2.54 centimeters. It is 2.54x, divide by 2.54 on each side, and you'll get x is approximately 29.53 inches. Let's do more practice. Phil is building a scale model of his home. The actual home is 26 feet wide by 40 feet long. If the model is 10 inches long, how wide does the model need to be? So you're comparing the width to the length. So for the actual home, it's 26 feet wide over 40 feet long. So for the model, it states it's 10 inches long. So how wide does it need to be? Again, you want to stay consistent. Numerators match, denominators match. Cross multiply, you get 40x equals 260. It's a one-step equation. So you want to take the inverse operation and divide by 40, and you get 6.5 feet. In problem 2, Melissa's new puppy weighs 48 ounces. What is the puppy's weight in grams? So you're comparing ounces to grams. So when you look at your conversion, there is 1 ounce to every 28.35 grams. 1 ounce to every 28.35 grams. So if the new puppy weighs 48 ounces, that will go in the numerator. Cross multiply, and you get x equals 1,360.8 grams. Okay. Pause the video and try 3, 4, 5, and 6. Review the answers written below. Remember, in number 4, it's not only asking how many meters, but it's asking, will Michelle have enough for her fabric for her dress? And in number 6, you need to convert one of these to be on the same unit. This one's either got to be converted to inches, or the 18 inches needs to be converted to centimeters. I chose to convert the 40 centimeters to inches. Let's talk about scale proportions. For scale proportions, you need to write what you know first. Or in other words, write the scale. A garage door is 16 feet wide. The scale is 2 inches to every foot. So I'm going to write my conversion first. Then I'm going to write what I need to find out. So if it's 15 feet, I need to find out, 16 feet, I need to find out the inches. Cross multiply and solve. In problem 2, it says Chicago, Illinois, and Mexico City, Mexico, map distance 10.9 centimeters. So I'm comparing centimeters to kilometers. I have 1 centimeter to every 250 kilometers. So if I have 10.9 centimeters, how many kilometers is that? Cross multiply and solve to get 2,725 kilometers. Not all of them are going to be obvious. For instance, look at number 8 at the bottom of the page. Your scale is written on the map. So So you'll have 2 inches for every 600 miles. So you get 2.27 inches for how many miles. You want to cross multiply to get a one-step equation and then solve to get 681 miles. Pause the video and complete problems 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Check your answers with the ones written below.